I'm actually so excited to go strawberry picking. It's one of the things I look forward to when I go back to Vermont is going strawberry picking with my sister. They're so much better. I mean, these are good too, but they're always so good when you just get them on a farm. Hey everyone, I'm Nia. Welcome back to another episode of Recipe Drop. And today we're actually making a strawberry pretzel salad, which if you're from the Midwest or southern states, you're probably familiar with. I like to kind of think of it as a no-bake cheesecake of sorts. It's a pretzel crust with a whipped cream and cream cheese filling, then topped with strawberry Jell-O and fresh strawberries. It's a really nostalgic summer dessert, and I think you're gonna really like it. And we're gonna start off with making the pretzel crust. Okay, so for the pretzel crust, I'm using my personal favorite pretzels. It's these little, I think they're called pretzel snaps. But this is 200 grams of pretzels. What you want for the recipe is 2 cups of crushed pretzels. So you could crush them using a food processor if you want, but I was not smooth. I like to just use a Ziploc when I can. I'm just gonna take this rolling pin and I'm gonna gently crush first. Just go in and crush kind of lightly first. It's pretty much like making a graham cracker crust. And I know some people, when they make their strawberry pretzel salad, I actually don't know what's called a salad, but we'll get into that later. I like the really like finely ground crust, so it almost feels more like a graham cracker crust or like a shortbread crust, but it's kind of up to you. So now I'm gonna go in and kind of roll over the big pieces. Okay, Tam, can you finish this? In the meantime, I'm gonna melt 2 sticks of butter, 1 cup, unsalted. We melted this, but it had time to harden, so I'm gonna pop this in the microwave real quick.
I'm on camera now, this is my show.
Do we trust Tam to complete the project?
Man, this bag
No.
This bag already has holes in it.
Yeah, he said it has holes in it already. I know, literally, like no time at all. How's it going? He's in the zone. It was kind of like bubbling over a little bit, but yeah, that's good. What a star. Nice, good job. Do a little more just in case. All right, so in this big bowl, I'm gonna add all the graham cracker crumbs. So to the pretzel crust, I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of granulated white sugar. And although there's already some salt on the pretzels, I'm actually gonna add another 3/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. If you feel like it's too much salt, just use ½ teaspoon. One thing though is that if you're using pretzels from the bottom of the bag, make sure that you're also not getting that extra salt that has fallen off the pretzels that's in the bottom of the bag. I really love crusts like this because I feel like they're just so easy to make. I will almost always choose a pie crust like this, a tart crust over like a rolled out flour and butter dough, just because this is so much easier. All right, now adding the cup of melted butter. I'm just gonna mix this together until it resembles like a coarse sand and the pretzels kind of clump together when you pinch them. It also might seem like a lot of butter, but this is just gonna make sure that the crust really stays together, especially when you go to remove the pretzel salad from the pan. So here I have a 9 by 13 baking dish. It's really important that you grease this pretty generously because otherwise it's gonna be really hard to get it out of the pan in nice, clean squares. So I just have some regular cooking spray. Just gonna grease it generally on the bottom. In with the pretzel crust. I've also preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pat it into an even layer and wanna try to not move all that cooking spray around too much because you wanna make sure that it's kind of like covering the whole bottom. I'm just scraping up some from the bottom because I'm noticing that some of it is collecting like in certain areas. So I just wanna make sure that everything is like a complete even layer. You can use whatever you have at home. You could use a cup, you could use a measuring cup, something with a flat edge that you can really press down on the crust. And this is gonna help to just compact the crust and also make it easier to remove later. Okay, so this is now gonna bake until it's completely set for about 10 to 12 minutes. And then I'm gonna let it cool completely. And in the meantime, we're gonna prepare the Jell-O. So let's head to the oven. So I actually have been using these back 4 ovens recently because for some reason the oven over there, it has screwed up one too many of my recipes.
Bad.
Pretty bad.
Oh, shit.
I hate this oven. Usually Jell-O calls for 2 cups of boiling water and then also 2 cups of cold water, or we want the flavor to be really concentrated, so we're just gonna use boiling water. 2 cups of boiling water, and then here we have 6 ounces of strawberry Jell-O. The point of using boiling water versus cold is to make sure that all the gelatin dissolves. So I'm just mixing pretty gently to kind of dissolve all the gelatin, but I also don't want to whisk too much because then you're gonna end up with air bubbles in the Jell-O, and I just don't want that for final results, I guess. So the idea with this Jell-O is you want it to be pretty cooled once you actually pour it over the whipped cream layer, because if it's too warm, it's gonna melt it. But you also don't want it to get too cool because then it's gonna have time to set and it's not gonna look as nice when you pour it over the rest of the layers. Okay, so I'm also gonna actually cut some strawberries. This is 1 pound of strawberries that I've washed and dried. With these, I've seen people make Jell-O salads in different ways. Some people just cut them in half. Some people cut the strawberries into little pieces, like dice them. I like to cover them completely with Jell-O, so I'm slicing them into little slices. In the summer, I don't know, I'm sure everybody else feels this way, but I really lean into strawberry recipes and berry recipes in general. The crust is done. You can see, look at it, it's like bubbling on the top a little bit, and it might not look like it's done. Any butter that's left is gonna solidify as it cools, and it's gonna be a solid crust. So this is done, and it looks really good, and it smells good. Okay, so while the pretzel crust cools, I'm actually gonna move on to the whipped cream and cream cheese filling. So I'm gonna use these beautiful cane mixing bowls by Mason Cash. They come in a few different colors and a few different sizes as well. So it also comes in this design, which I really like. I think this is really fun for whipping cream. It has the handle, it has the spout. You could also do this for like pancake batter if you wanna just pour right out of the pot. They're made of stoneware and they're actually dishwasher and microwavable safe. And my personal favorite thing about them is that they're nice enough to leave out on the counter. I feel like you could also put fruit in them. I think that would be really, really nice. Honestly, just use them as decoration. Like, I feel like that would be nice on like next to some glasses in your kitchen. So for this filling, I'm using 2 8-ounce things of softened cream cheese. And then I have ½ a cup of white sugar. So I'm also gonna add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I think anytime you're making something with cream cheese, I think the vanilla helps to balance out the flavors of the tanginess. I'm gonna add 1/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. This ingredient isn't necessary, but I'm gonna also add 1/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. This helps to stabilize the cream cheese and the whipped cream a little better, also helping to achieve like a nice clean slice. It's a nice little tip. And I actually read that in the comments somewhere on someone's recipe. So now I'm just gonna beat this together until it's nice and fluffy and there are no cream cheese clumps remaining and everything is just evenly combined. When I was doing my recipe research, I saw that some recipes called for just pouring the whipped cream into the cream cheese and then beating everything together. And then I saw some recipes that called for whipping them individually and then combining them. I found that that works a little bit better. Then you have more control over how whipped your cream gets. And then I kind of like to whip them together at the end just to like make everything really nice and fluffy. So without even cleaning these whisks, I'm just gonna use these to whip the cream because it's all going in the same place. So here I have 1½ cups of very cold heavy cream. I think I've said this before, but cold cream keeps its shape a lot better and also whips up faster than warm cream. So now I'm just gonna beat this on medium speed until it reaches soft peaks. This is a perfect bowl for whipping cream because its sides come up so high so that less of the cream splatters out. All right, so these are like medium peaks. Now I'm just gonna add this to the cream cheese mixture. All right, so now I'm just gonna beat this together until it's combined and really light and fluffy. I'm gonna scrape down the sides just to make sure that all that cream cheese mixture in the bowl gets mixed in. So I know some recipes actually use Cool Whip. I personally do not like Cool Whip. I don't know why, just like there's something about it that I don't like. So that's really why I'm using the homemade whipped cream. I think using homemade whipped cream in this also makes it taste a little bit more like a no-bake cheesecake, which I really like. And I think it also tastes just a little bit fresher and a little less sweet too, and a little less artificial, even though we're using Jell-O, but that's fine. Okay, so what you want is for the mixture to look like this. It has some visible folds, it kind of is holding its shape well, it has some stiff peaks, and it's already pretty set, which means it's only gonna get more set in the fridge as we chill it. Okay, so now that we have the cooled crust and we have the cream cheese and the whipped cream filling, I'm gonna add it to the crust and spread it out into a nice even layer. I do actually really feel like a strawberry pretzel salad is kind of like a no-bake cheesecake. Someone said it to me yesterday and I was like, you know what? It's kind of true, because think about it. Like, haven't you ever gotten like a cheesecake where it's like graham cracker crust or pretzel crust, and then it's the cheesecake, and then sometimes there's like a cherry jelly on top, or even like a strawberry jelly. So it's like a no-bake cheesecake in a different form. So make sure to get into all the corners too. So I'm gonna cover this with plastic wrap, and I'm gonna let this chill in the fridge for about 30 minutes to make sure that it sets completely. And then I'm gonna top it with the strawberries and the Jell-O. Okay, so this has set for about 30 minutes. I was doing some research and I found that strawberry pretzel salad actually first came to a cookbook called The Joys of Jello in, I think, 1963, which is kind of fun. And that's around the time when like Jello salads were all the rage, I believe. When do you think Jello salads were first invented?
No clue. When?
1904.
1904?
Isn't that crazy? The weird thing about that though is that it was really only like clear Jello, so like pretty much gelatin, and they didn't start introducing like flavors and fruits and stuff until the 30s, which is kind of interesting. But who would have thought? Strawberry pretzel salad is specific to the Midwest and South of America, I believe. It's so interesting to learn about the types of desserts and recipes that people grew up eating, because this is something that I've never tried before, and I'm sure there's plenty of recipes that like you grew up eating that I've never had before, and same with you, Eugene, especially since you are not from here. Also, Erin, who's an assistant buyer, she knew exactly what this was as soon as I posted it in our Come and Get It Slack. She said that this was like their bread and butter, and she's from Ohio. Maybe we can get her to come taste later?
Sir, you need me to talk about how
We
much
do.
I love the strawberry pretzel salad?
Yeah.
Because I'm here. What am I doing? Do I get to pour the Jello?
Oh yeah, wait, you should pour the Jell-O.
Celeb shot.
Did you grow up eating this?
Yes. This, I immediately sent a picture to my family group chat, and everyone was so jealous. They were like, and a chef made it? That has to be
I'm
10
honored.
times better. It is quite literally my summer nostalgia
Wow.
in a dish.
Good.
This is my moment.
Yeah, this
My
is your
moment to
moment.
shine. Okay, my favorite salad. And I love that it's called a salad, even though it is
I know, why is it called
not
salad?
nearly anything healthy.
Erin, did you know that Jello salads were first invented in 1904?
No, I did not. But that's great to
Learn
know.
something new every day.
It's actually
I wonder what
120
the
years.
original 1904 Jello salad was.
It was red pepper, cabbage, and like lettuce, and just like clear gelatin.
I'm going with the strawberry Jello salad for my pick.
Same.
Happy to help.
Great job.
It looks beautiful.
Great job. Now I'm gonna pop this back into the fridge to let the Jell-O completely set. I usually like to let it sit for about an hour and a half. 2 hours if you have time is best. The longer you can let it sit, the better. I guess I'll see you in 2 hours and we'll cut out a nice slice. All right, so it's been about 2 hours. She's very set. I'm like scared to jiggle it too hard, but the thing with this though is you wanna make sure that your knife is really sharp so that you can get a clean cut of the strawberries, the Jell-O, the whipped cream and cream cheese filling, and then also the pretzel crust. So let's see if we can do that. Moment of truth. It's always hard to get the first slice out of things like this. Nice. Look at those layers. Wait, how's it look from the front? Nice.
Clean.
Looks clean. Guys, you can't tell me this doesn't look delicious. It literally is like a no-bake cheesecake, kind of, with like a fun jelly layer on top. This is bringing me back to like 1904. Just kidding. I've obviously tried this before, but I'm excited to try it again. So fun. I'm not gonna lie, when I first started developing this recipe, I was a little skeptical. I haven't always been the biggest Jell-O fan, but I actually really like this. Again, no-bake cheesecake adjacent. Super easy, very summery, especially with the strawberries. It's a great recipe to bring to gatherings or if you're having parties this summer. If you want the recipe on my take to the strawberry pretzel salad, you can find it linked below in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And please do let me know if you try it. I would love to hear what you think.